The Krillian invasion force had celebrated for 3 days after Lieutenant Jessica Kane fell in battle. The security footage played on every major news network across the Confederation, the human soldier making her last stand on the fortress walls of Epsilon Station, taking down 17 Krillian warriors before a plasma lance pierced straight through her chest. She had fallen, her body tumbling into the chasm below, disappearing into the toxic fog of the planet's lower atmosphere. Commander ZH Carr of the Krillian Empire had personally verified the kill. No human could survive a direct hit to their primary heart, let alone the 1,000-meter fall into corrosive mists. He had claimed her weapon as a trophy and moved on to plan the next assault. That was 6 months ago. Now, ZH Carr stood frozen on the bridge of his command ship, staring at the tactical display with all 4 of his eyes wide in disbelief. A single ship had emerged from hyperspace, a modified human corvette, scarred and battered. And on the open comm channel, a voice he recognized spoke with chilling calm. "Hello, ZH Carr. Did you miss me?" The view screen flickered to life, revealing Lieutenant Jessica Kane. A wicked scar ran down the left side of her face, and her left arm had been replaced with a sleek cybernetic prosthetic. But her eyes, those terrifyingly determined human eyes, were very much alive. "Impossible," ZH Carr hissed. "I watched you die." Jessica's smile was cold as the void. "You watched me fall. Turns out, humans are really hard to kill. Especially when we're angry." She leaned forward, her mechanical fingers drumming against her console. "See, my squad found me 3 days later. Broken ribs, punctured lung, burned over 40% of my body. The medic said I had a 5% chance of survival." She paused. "I took those odds personally." Across the Krillian battle line, alarms began screaming. Ships were detecting multiple hyperspace signatures, dozens of them. The human reinforcement fleet emerged from jump space like avenging angels, their weapons already charging. But it was Jessica's ship that moved first. She accelerated directly toward ZH Carr's flagship, weaving through defensive fire with inhuman precision. Her cybernetic enhancements allowed her to interface directly with her ship's systems, reacting faster than any organic pilot could dream. "You know what the worst part was?" Jessica's voice continued over the open channel as her ship's cannons tore through Krillian shields. "Listening to your victory speeches while I was in the regeneration tank. Hearing you brag about how easily humans fall. How fragile we are." A Krillian destroyer exploded as Jessica's torpedoes found their mark. She didn't even slow down. "But here's what you never understood about humans," she said, her voice dropping to a growl. "We don't just heal from our wounds. We learn from them. We adapt. We come back stronger." ZH Carr watched in horror as his formation began to collapse. The human fleet fought with a ferocity he had never witnessed before. They weren't just defending territory anymore, they were avenging one of their own who had returned from the dead. Jessica's ship screamed past his flagship, close enough that he could see her face through the viewports. She was smiling, but there was no warmth in it. Only the cold satisfaction of a predator who had cornered her prey. "Fall back," ZH Carr finally ordered, his voice cracking. "All ships, retreat to hyperspace." "Running so soon?" Jessica taunted. "But we just got started. I've spent 6 months planning this reunion." The Krillian fleet scattered, ships jumping to hyperspace in disorganized panic. ZH Carr's flagship was the last to flee, its commander unable to tear his eyes away from the viewscreen where Jessica Kane sat in her pilot's chair, very much alive, very much victorious. As the jump drive engaged, ZH Carr heard her final words, "Tell your empire what you saw here today. Tell them the human they killed came back. Tell them we don't stay dead." The hyperspace tunnel swallowed his ship, but her voice seemed to follow him into the void. "Tell them we remember." In the aftermath of the battle, Jessica's squadron gathered around her ship. Through the comms, she could hear their cheers, their celebration. But she simply sat in her pilot's chair, staring at her cybernetic hand as it clenched into a fist. She had died on Epsilon Station. But something fiercer had crawled out of that toxic fog. Something that would make sure the Krillians never forgot the price of underestimating humanity. Lieutenant Jessica Kane was back, and the galaxy would never be the same.